Blog Talk Radio.
This is the Two Prophets program with Edward D. McKinney. This is my second radio program. Thank you for tuning in. Today is April 12th, 2009. This is Easter Sunday, which is the anniversary of the day the resurrected and reborn Jesus Christ presented himself to his followers. I am speaking from Big Sky, Montana, the mountain of God. Today's topic is the Christian and biblical origin of the eagle on the Great Seal of the government of the United States. Please take $1 from your wallet and look at the eagle. I will be quoting Bible verses because our Christian forefathers who created the Great Seal used the Bible as their source of inspiration. Your devoutly Christian forefathers not only used images from the Bible, they have told you two profound stories with those images. One story is symbolized by the eagle, which once took Israelites out of Egypt, and it also took pilgrims out of Europe. The other story is symbolized by the pyramid, which illustrates the second coming of Jesus Christ. Now, these could be strange concepts for this end-time generation, because atheists have tried to hide the true meaning of our Great Seal from us. But these concepts were not strange to our forefathers and even to recent leaders of our government in Washington, D.C. For example, Vice President Wallace, who served under President Franklin Roosevelt, told us that the Great Seal is a prophecy of the second coming of Jesus Christ. Now, isn't that amazing information for this end-time generation, which has been blinded by atheism? The words of Vice President Wallace are in the book, The Coming of the New Deal, 1933 through 1935, written by Arthur Meyer Schlesinger. On page 31, we read, Vice President Wallace said, "Those who are devout believers in the prophecies of the Bible, and who also have great depth of feeling concerning the founding and destiny of this country, might well wonder whether the reverse of the Great Seal did not prefigure the second coming of the Messiah. The reverse of the Great Seal is the pyramid. The word prefigure means to set a date for, to present a diagram, to present a date on a calendar. I am presenting in the second part of a 4-part program information that explains the eagle on the Great Seal. Your Christian forefathers devoted a great deal of time in the creation of symbols that have profound religious meaning. The great eagle is the most prominent image because it represents God himself. The eagle represents God who brought the tribes, children of Israel out of Egypt. This is described in Exodus 19:4, which reads, "You saw what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you to myself." This same eagle brought pilgrims to North America in order for the government of the United States to be born. Puritans fled Europe, which was under kings who were like pharaohs of Egypt. God brought Puritans to the wilderness of North America in order for them to have their place of freedom in a promised land. This event is described in Revelations 12:14, which reads, "The woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle, so that she could fly away from the serpent to her place in the wilderness." Who was the woman? It was the Church of God that was about to give birth to the democratic government of the United States. It was the same eagle who was God, who had taken the children of Israel out of Egypt. The United States has the very same symbols that pertain to the birth of Israel in Egypt. The birth of the United States is described in Revelations 12:1 and 2, which read, "There appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed in the sun, and the moon was under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered." Notice the biblical symbolism. Stars refer to both the tribes of Israel in Egypt and the American colonies in North America. The moon has never been under any feet except American feet. The Apollo 11 mission to the moon had a landing craft named Eagle. When astronaut Neil Armstrong landed on the moon, he said, "The Eagle has landed." And then Americans stood with their feet on the moon. Miss Liberty is clothed in the sun. Look at an American silver dollar and you will see Miss Liberty, who is clothed in the rays of the sun. The circle above the eagle's head is the pillar of smoke that was God's protective barrier that saved Israelites from the army of Pharaoh. I remember the first time I looked at that circle and wondered what it represented. It seemed to be too rough to be in the seal, but that is just the way the clouds look. The pillar on the American dollar is described in Exodus 14. Verses 19 through 20, which reads, "The pillar of the cloud went from before their face and stood behind them, and it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of the Israelites. And it was a cloud of darkness to Egyptians, but a cloud of light to Israelites. The pillar is made up of 15 clouds, because it was on the 15th day of Abib, on the Jewish calendar, that Israelites left Egypt. This circle is like the face of a clock and a calendar that was set for the day that Israelites left Egypt. The previous night was the Passover on the 14th day of Abib. Passover is always on the 14th day of Abib on the Jewish calendar. Jesus, as the Passover lamb, was sacrificed on the 14th day so the Israelites could be free on the 15th day. Jesus was sacrificed on the 14th of Abib about 2,000 years ago so that Puritans would be free in the promised land of North America. Do you get what your forefathers are telling you through these symbols that they chose? Abib the 15th and the number 15 have nothing to do with the birth of the government of the United States that I recall at this time. This number pretty well describes the birth of Israel in Egypt. Yet it draws a parallel between the birth of Israel in Egypt and the birth of the government of the United States of America. Both nations came out of Egypt in the sense that Europe was under kings and oppressive religious rulers. If you want to know just how bad that oppression was, read Fox's Book of Martyrs. You will understand that pilgrims indeed fled from the serpent, who was Satan. Satan controlled Europe in a time that there was no democracy on earth. The 13 stars inside the pillar of smoke represent both the 13 tribes of Israel and the 13 American colonies. Israel had 12 tribes until the patriarch Israel adopted the 2 Egyptian sons of his son Joseph. Those sons were Ephraim and Manasseh. After that adoption, 13 tribes entered the Promised Land. Those 13 tribes were Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Benjamin, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Ephraim, and Manasseh was the 13th. Now, is 13 an unlucky number? Yes, it is unlucky to the enemies of the United States. But 13 is a lucky number for the people in the United States military. Notice that the eagle has symbols of peace and war. The eagle, who is God, extends an olive branch because Joseph, who had a custom of presenting an olive branch, also extended peace to his friends. But Joseph also held arrows in reserve in case his enemies wanted war. Military power is symbolized by the arrows in the left talons. God said he would bless the allies of Joseph and curse the enemies of Joseph. God is the great eagle who blesses or curses on behalf of the United States. The United States military is described in terms of a lion at full power in Numbers 24:9, which reads, "He couched, he lay down as a lion, and as a great lion. Who shall stir him up? Blessed is he that blesses you, and cursed is he that curses you." The point is that your Christian forefathers used the great eagle to draw a parallel between the creation of the nation of ancient Israel and the creation of the United States of America. In both cases, God was the creator. God is the great eagle on our sill. Well, we're out of time for now, but we will continue with part 3 on the pyramid. Thank you for tuning in. Visit our website at twoprophets.org for more information about the Great Seal. Next time we will show specifics about the Christian biblical origin and message of the pyramid, which gives a year for the second coming of Jesus Christ. Tune in next time, April 19th, 2009, Sunday, 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time at blogtalkradio.com/Edward-McKinney. Until next time, friends, this is Edward D. McKinney with twoprophets.org.